And welcome to Commerce City, Colorado, lovely Dick's Sporting Goods Park on a rainy Wednesday afternoon for the 4A Girls Soccer State Championship matchup between the Green Mountain Rams, the number 2 seed in the bracket, and the 5th seeded Air Academy Cadets. Cadets, the visitors in the Road Navies today. They've got their fans here out and loud and proud this evening. Air Academy 17-3 this season. 0 goals given up in postseason action. And for the Green Mountain Rams, 17-0-1, the lone tie on their record. Came back in April against Valor Christian. 2 state titles for the Green Mountain Rams back in 1997 and 1999. The Air Academy Cadets seeking their first state championship. This is the first of 2 games here from Dick's Sporting Goods Park this evening as we get a good look at the Rams huddle. The next game up, the 5A state championship. That to come at 7:30 Mountain Time. Head coach of the Green Mountain Rams, Ken Fair. And for Air Academy, Nancy Sibley, I'm Josh Groats. It's a pleasure to welcome in my broadcast partner, Mary Kay Moreau. And Mary Kay, should be a fantastic evening tonight. The best soccer teams out here vying for the state title. Teams out on the field. In the gold will be the Green Mountain Rams. The starting goalkeepers for the Rams, Lindsay Hendon has logged nearly 1,100 minutes in goal. For the Air Academy Cadets, it'll be Sierra Daniger, 1,320 minutes. We're underway on the opening touch. Out past the end line, and the ball belonging to Green Mountain. Hendon will send in with a left kick. Battle for it at midfield. Green Mountain opting for the long sleeve uniforms. Air Academy, the drive up from Colorado Springs, they have the short ones on. Played through, headed down by Underhill, the senior. Controlled by Green Mountain, ball played through Carly Fair. You'll hear her name a lot this evening. Now Karin Nelson plays the flag to Taylor Braden. That one off the sideline. Starting lineups for Green Mountain: Lindsay Hendon in goal, Gabby Makatura, Lindsay Forrest. Carly Fair is a senior striker. Sabrina Van Dyke. Katie Marquezo as a ball played forward toward danger. Underhill sends it away. Claire Miles, Christina Makatura, Kelly Van Tassel, Mia Dobbin, and Jen Brunsden. Throw-in Rams. Forrest settles towards Fair. It's picked off by Martino. For Air Academy, Rachel Martino, Erica Underhill. We've said both their names so far. A chance on the far side. Streaking forward is Karin Nelson. One-on-one battle with Makatura. Nelson with room to cross in. Cleared away by the Rams. First opportunity belongs to Air Academy. It's sent aside. Booed in by Williamson and controlled by Lindsay Hendon. Continuing on that Cadets starting lineup: Bree Pack, the senior captain Sarah Schweiss, a scoring machine. The sophomore Ashley Nelson, sophomore Brooke Braden, senior Taylor Braden, the sisters. The junior Haley Williamson, senior Tori Reifschneider, and the freshman Sarah Kondrick in front of goalkeeper, the freshman Sierra Daniger. Through ball out of the reach of Fair. Carly Fair, the youngest daughter of Ken Fair, the head coach of Green Mountain, and he said it's a lot of emotions, happy, sad, upset, excited, everything to see his final daughter move on to college, where she will be playing her college soccer at the University of Louisiana. And tonight, looking for a state title. Free kick upcoming for the Cadets from about 40 yards straight away. The field tonight, 107 yards long. We saw it play an impact a night ago. Last year and in years past, they played 120 yards, the full 120 by 80, largest allowed by FIFA rules. Played into the box, diving stop there by Hendon. Right there was Karin Nelson, but Hendon holds on. You have to think with a slippery surface from the rain that's come down tonight, keep it low, let it skip, and be there for rebounds against the goaltenders. So back to Fair, he said, you know what? Obviously we want to win, but win or lose, this is a special opportunity. It's my last chance to coach my daughter at the high school level. And tonight is that chance. As we're 5 minutes, nearly 5 minutes gone by from Dick's Sporting Goods Park, we'll have Mary Kay Morrow with us in just moments here on CHSAA.tv. And Mary Kay, I know in speaking with the coaches, they talked about playing in a venue like this, the Colorado Rapids Pro venue, 18,000 seats. As the ball played near corner flag, and the first touch for the goalkeeper, Sierra Doniger, is a clean one. And so the coach said, hey, you know what? The seniors were freshmen, and those who played, the few of them that did play, that opportunity should help them here in tonight's contest. Mm-hmm. Good shot, just saved off the goal line. Didn't see the defender that saved it, but that one would have gotten in. The initial save by Hendon, a defender fell down, and that ball ends up inches from putting the Cadets up 1-0.
Play by Lindsey Forst, the center mid who got back in a hurry to flood the box and be able to clear it right out because it was on that line.
Hendon with a few early touches. Daniger on the other end has gotten one so far. Controlling with space in the midfield. They're going to say onside. Faking out the goalie, and the Cadets on the board first in the 7th minute of play.
Karin Nelson breaks free, gets past the goalie, and Hendon had to make a decision quick, and that was to come out. Really no choice. Could not cut the angle, and a free shot as Nelson, untouched, gets it behind in the back of the net.
Seven minutes in, the Cadets on the board, and Mary Kay, I'll put you on the spot. Is it over?
You wonder.
the way teams defense.
And both really in the playoffs, both teams have been just outstanding defensively. It'll be interesting to see if this one goal holds up, and that is not a far cry of a question either.
The head coach Nancy Sibley earlier today, she was preaching about how fantastic her defense was. She said very solid, very smart, composed. They hold up well together. and they're conservative. And now with a lead, you can be a bit more conservative.
And that's really true. And what's interesting is this, Coach Sibley didn't want to discuss too much last year's playoffs where they lost to the same Green Mountain squad in the quarterfinals in a very controversial call when 2 balls were on the field. Nonetheless, they lost that game. Green Mountain went on to the Final Four, lost out before coming back this year, and they make the run. So both teams now get to face each other, and now it's in the state championship. And she said, you know what? We decided to forget last year. It's no excuses, just results.
Cara Nelson's goal was her 17th on the season, her 6th goal, and 13th point. Opportunity in the box. Christina Makatura leaves off for fair. That one harmlessly over the end line.
Josh, you talked about goals at a premium. Green Mountain coming into tonight's game has given up just 10 goals on the year, and against 81 that it scored. That's quite a difference. So on average, a little over 4 goals a game it averages scoring. And it's only that now this was the 11th goal of the season.
And Air Academy on the other side, just 7 goals against. That's just over a third of a goal per game for that defense. They find themselves with the lead, 1-0 here. 9 minutes gone by. 4A state championship game from Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Josh Cross, Mary Kay Morrow with you. Hendon has this one in her clutches. And these two teams, they come in obviously with momentum, having advanced to the finals. That's what comes with it. And as you talked about the scoring, as far as a carryover, Green Mountain had a tough game in the semifinals. Ball sent in just wide of that near post as it hits the net on the outside. As we get another peek at the goal in the game, Nelson just one quick move on Hendon and buries it.
As soon as she got behind the defense, Hendon had to make a decision, and she came out. She came off her line, far off her line, and really had no choice because Hendon was uncovered at the point.
Air Academy controls. Here's Nelson, the goal scorer. 2 defenders come to help, wrestled down, and Green Mountain will be awarded possession. So the Rams in the semifinal game won in penalty kicks. And it's not something that necessarily Coach Ken Fair is, I wouldn't say overly proud of, but he said flat out, you don't like to win in penalty kicks, you hate to lose in them though. And he came out on top, and it's one of those that really, you look any break either way, they don't even get there. They get to penalty kicks, and you get a couple of saves from your goaltender in Lindsay Hendon, and here you are playing for the crown.
And his squad faced Valor Christian, the defending state champions, and really that's something to know too, Josh. This is the first time in 4 years it's not been either Valor Christian or Wheat Ridge in the state finals. So we will have a new champion crowned tonight. And Green Mountain faced Valor at the season opener, and that is the lone tie. Actually, the lone loss coming in for, let me take that back. That's Air Academy. The lone loss for Air Academy was to Valor. Green Mountain on the other side was able to defeat Valor in the playoffs after a tie earlier in the season.
The Rams had it deep in possession. It's chested down by Nelson. Through ball, the streaker on the far side is Taylor Braden. The connection unsuccessful as Claire Miles steps in. Well, the Cadets have one on the board. They don't seem to be slowing down anytime soon, as it'll be Rams ball in the center circle. How important is that, Mary Kay, for a team that doesn't, put the numbers on the board in the playoffs at least, right? As the competition gets stiffer, you have your early round games against, let's face it, lesser competition. But as you start to advance through the playoffs, obviously 4 goals in the quarterfinal against the 4 seed Broomfield, headed on and Daniger got a touch, so our first corner kick of the game.
And
But if
that
you
was
don't
a
score
pretty
that
dangerous.
much, you know, a second one would be huge.
Yeah, it absolutely would, and you almost have to be cautiously optimistic here if you're Air Academy, and the reason for that is no team really likes to go in up 2-0. It tends to make you feel like you tend to maybe be back on your heels in that second half.
The run on by Forrest, excuse me,
Go ahead.
Mary Kay. That one got over the head of Forrest and the goalkeeper Daniger.
So the last thing you want is any complacency to set in, and that can happen with a 2-goal lead at the break. So do they want another goal? Well, absolutely. However, going in right now, you just got the edge. You got the edge, and now it's time to put pressure on that Green Mountain defense and keep them out of the offensive third.
Here's the freshman Brunsden. Leaves for Fair. Shot from 25 over the crossbar. She'll shoot from 40 yards and in. She did there from 25 and sent that one high.
Well, and Fair had a hat trick on Saturday against Devlin to get to this stage. Devlin, a fellow Jeffco opponent and rival, won that one in OT, 3-2, and all three coming off the foot of Carly Fair.
Settling is Nelson, 30 yards out, and that one well wide of the cage. Cara Nelson comes in a junior captain. She's sensational. She seems to be everywhere, controlling the middle of the field right now.
She's the type of player that a coach calls a beast. She is everywhere. Physical, diehard, very aggressive athlete. Headed to the University of Oklahoma next season.
First touch by Katie Marquezo has it taken away. The leave for Haley Williamson. She sends it back to her defense. Good to see the field holding up extremely well. Just 15 minutes of play in, but obviously there was half-hour warm-ups, and really you see more girls on slide tackles hitting the ground, but other than that, keeping their feet very well.
Yeah, and surprisingly, of course, you got to attribute a lot of that to the care of this field, being a pro atmosphere, a pro turf, that this is something that is so well taken care of, even under the elements. You're right, they're keeping their footing very well. And that was one concern I had, Josh, coming into tonight, is that, okay, they're going to play the game in the rain, driving rain, and you worry about injury, worry about players slipping. However, this turf is in such good shape, it's absorbing quite a bit.
And you talk about injuries. The Kadets junior Brooke Watson here tonight on crutches, so she not getting a chance in the championship game to play. And, you know, this field, it's amazing. When you go down there with people who are unfamiliar with it, they just assume that it's turf. It's so incredibly manicured, and, you know, they're
temperature controlled, right?
Yeah. At the foot of Taylor Braden. Around one defender, swinging into the box around the 18. It's up in the air dangerously. Karin tries to settle, leaves for a teammate, and sent wide.
That was a nice shield by Karin to gain possession. Got a substitution coming in on the far side for Green Mountain.
Jordan Gabriel will sit.
I like how Green Mountain has a lot of higher numbers. They've got a 52, a 51, a 39, a 35. Gabriel is 39.
And ones that play. It's not the freshman call-ups that, you know, ride the end of the bench.
True.
They're actually out there. Headed by Forrest. Running is Fair. Dropping it back. Marquezo was there. Now running the other way, Sarah Schweiss. Looking for the through ball. The cutback unsuccessful by Braden, and the Rams have it. Once again, the Green Mountain Rams coming in the number 2 seed in their home gold jerseys. The Air Academy Cadets in the Road Navy, the number 5 seed. Cleared out of danger, at least for the moment, by Erica Underhill. And a throw in deep in Cadets territory by the Rams.
And Underhill has been a terrific mainstay on that defensive line, Josh. She didn't even play last season for the Kadets, and here she is starting in a state championship game. She's been solid, big, and she distributes well out of the back.
Ball played back, swung in, looking for the settle, and run on by Mia Dobbin. Turns, cuts the corner, good slide tackle by the Kadets defense. Pushed all the way back to the Rams defense at the midline, and through now to Fair. Defense by Martino. And now a corner kick, the second of the match for the Rams. You know, it's interesting. Rams coach Ken Fair, in this day and age with organizations like CHSAA.tv broadcast so much information. We'll get to this point in just a moment, as swinging in will be his daughter, Fair. Headed by the defense, volley by a Rams player. It comes right back to Fair. Chipped into the box at the 6. Not on goal. A Kadets defender is there.
That was forced on the header attempt on the cross by Fair, to no avail for the Rams.
Sent back in, and now the Kadets can clear. Coach Fair said, I haven't seen Green Mountain play. And in this day and age, it's almost tough to believe a coach when he says, I haven't seen an opponent, especially when you're not talking about a national competition, but a state-level competition with schools separated by about an hour, that he hadn't seen them.
Yeah, and it's interesting. That is the difference, though. With you would think you could blur that district line, since or even just league line, since the Colorado Springs area, the Air Academy district is where the Kadets come from. And that is an interesting comment. You know, but also, too, what it tells me, too, he's been focusing on his ball club and making sure that they're taking care of business. And they so far have this season, coming in with that outstanding record, just one blemish, and that's a tie, 17-0-1 coming into tonight's game.
Nancy Sibley for Air Academy said keys to the game for her squad as they have a 1-0 lead here in the first portion of the first half. Dangerous ball, but it'll be a free kick from the top of the 18 for the Kadets. Intensity, having to be composed and focused. 2 freshmen starting here in a state championship game, and she talked about the mental game, keeping within their game plan and not succumbing to the opponents. And I think 20 minutes into the game, she's got to be, not just because of the score, but I think she's got to be pretty happy with what she's seen from her 11.
Yeah, and that's being ready to play, and she totally has to be happy about that. She has done a fantastic job. And you had talked about just their history in soccer, and Coach Nancy Sibley was on the lone championship team back in 1993 when there was a 6A, a 5A, a 4A, 3, 2, and 1. It was 5A at the time. And so she said she wore her jersey. It was kind of a retro jersey to practice yesterday. And I said, well, did you motivate the players? And she said, well, I got a lot of, God, that's corny looking. But she said more or less, it's just the fact that her team was the one that has the lone state championship. This team wants to get there and be the one to bring it into the 21st century.
Left foot from Brooke Braden gets all the way through. Schweiss had an opportunity that was knocked down. Kadets continuing to apply pressure. Guys, spin move by Tori Reifschneider. Played through Schweiss. Now Taylor Braden taken away once again by Green Mountain. They were expecting several thousand here tonight. We can see from our vantage point in the press box those daring of the rain sitting in the first few rows, and I'm sure some others tucked under the overhang on the near side.
Yeah, it's hard to tell on the screen, but it is really coming down hard.
When he's talking about mental game and keeping composure, I mean, that's the ultimate. You come in, you always in your mind have this vision of winning a state championship and the sun beaming down on you. Here's a chance into the box, left foot, Hendon right there. And as we talk about the hands of her and keeping the ball in front of her, there was nobody else streaking through on the shot by Nelson. Hendon able to cover up. So that whole mental game, Mary Kay, was you know, the rain, this is not the way you envision your day. And you saw last night the 3A state championship, a magnificent day, a record high up in the low 90s, and then your game today, and you start driving here, and as you get closer and closer out to the park, the rain's coming heavier and heavier.
And that's where the intensity that Coach Sibley talked about comes in, and focus. Who can do it the best under the adversity?
Good defensive play by the freshman Martino. High steps by Dobbin to get tight into the 20. Sent in Van Tassel, and that one doesn't connect.
Substitution for the Rangers.
You spoke about freshmen on the field right now. You've got Rachel Martino blazing from the left back for Air Academy. Along that back line also is the goalkeeper in Sierra Daniger. And then on the other side for Green Mountain, up top is Jen Brunson, a freshman. She caught her coach's eye early. Suited varsity, but as soon as Jen Morgan went down with an injury, she has stepped up.
Nelson again, as Hendon gets the slide in. It'll be the first corner kick of the match for the Cadets. And Karen Nelson, the Rams need to find some solution to kind of slow her down.
They really do, and actually she's been able to penetrate that defense pretty darn well. She's gotten a couple of great through balls from the midfield.
Swung in right foot, right in front of the goal. One of her teammates got there.
Bree Pack on the corner kick. She's one of the strikers alongside Karen Nelson. She lofted it up there, and it looked like Josh flying in there was Sarah Schweiss. Came off the top of her head and just over the top of the goal.
But it's interesting, that's not normally the area you want to play the ball on a corner kick. You look more for between the 6 and 12 yard line where it's too far for the keeper to come out, but still got an opportunity on that one. Now a corner kick the other way for the Rams. This their third of the match. It'll be taken by Carly Fair. What a story for Fair. 4 goals twice this season. She's got 10 points in a game, 9 earlier this month. Swung in, volleyed by a teammate in the box at about 10 yards out. But control not there, and Cadets with the goal kick. 25th minute, Dick's Sporting Goods Park in the 4A state championship game.
And again, that was Lindsay Forrest coming up from her center mid position, trying to connect with the cross by Fair. And to once again, to no avail for the Rams. Rams, you mentioned it, Josh. They have got to find a way not only to stop Karen Nelson, but to penetrate this tough defense, this wall that's been set up by the Cadets. See that push off of the ball by Brooke Braden?
She's powerful.
For Air Academy, gaining position, got the ball turned back around in transition for her Cadets.
Through ball, running on, and a corner kick. It was Haley Peterman, the freshman, who had the opportunity. And she's the one who'll take the corner for the visitors.
And Braden got that ball down in a hurry. And I really like how the Cadets are transitioning from defense to offense and really countering with a great attack.
On the ground, foot there by Schweiss, and it ends up off the end line. Haley Peterman, who had the opportunity and then took the corner. A goal and an assist here in the playoffs, as a substitution brings Jordan Gabriel off the field. So some good solid minutes from her for Coach Fair's squad. Coming back on, Christina Makatura.
And you talk about families, there are 5 sets of families on the field tonight for the Green Mountain Rams. You've got you had mentioned it, the Makatura sisters, Schaller, Van Dykes, the coach and his daughter, and then also the third level coach, Mackenzie Brunsden. And she's Jen Brunsden, the freshman striker sister.
That's why I was never good at soccer. I didn't have a sibling that I could play on the same team with.
Or practice touches with down the field.
Yeah. Approaching the latter stages of the first half. Air Academy and Green Mountain doing battle. It's the Cadets with a 1-goal advantage here late in the first half. The goal coming from Karin Nelson, her 17th on the season in just the 7th minute. So after last night's 3A game, where there was no score in the first half, we saw an early strike from Nelson to give Air Academy the lead. Congratulations to Coach Chandler and the Peak to Peak Pumas for the 2-1 victory, coming back from being down 1-0. The Mustangs got on the board in the 43rd minute, and then the next 20 minutes, 2 goals from the Pumas, and that was the difference. Picked off Rams. Here's an opportunity. Running right down the middle. The strike from Fair, no good. Here's another one drifting in. Makatura sent it high.
You know, we mentioned that one of the losses for Air Academy came at the beginning of the season, and that was against Valor Christian, the defending state champs. Lost by 1 there. Then to Palmer Ridge, was a top 5 team all season long. Lost 1-0, and then fell to Cheyenne Mountain 1-0 as well at the very beginning of May, and May 1st, and has not lost since, and has only given up 1 goal here in the playoffs.
Taylor Braden will get a breather for Air Academy. Looks like Bree Pack re-entering the fray. And Mary Kay, how tough is it to control the ball off your foot on a night like this, where there's a little bit of moisture on your cleat, and obviously moisture on the field for your plant foot, and moisture on the ball as well?
Yeah, you really have to make a concerted effort to be in position and not take any inches off at all. You can't give with it, and just plan on making sure that you are stepping solidly and planting before you take a strike on the ball. The other thing is, you don't want, I mean, it's going to play a little bit slower. However, it's hard to tell with the way that Air Academy is playing right now, because they are traveling back and forth at a pretty good rate right now, and they have been this entire half.
Talk about playing slower, but that ball definitely is skimming off the moisture on the field. We've seen a few strikes, especially from the Rams, that have maybe ended up a little bit higher and wider than they would have liked. Maybe some of that is the weather.
Yeah, and then trying to settle that as well.
Good through ball to the near flag. Fair is the first to get there. Trying to play to her left foot and gets it. Sent into the box. Opportunity for the Rams. Bad first touch. It's knocked down by the defense. Cut back again. Forrest playing through to her teammate far side. Left foot shot it wide. What an opportunity from the Rams. 3, 4, maybe 5 chances there to put on goal. Unselfish play, and ultimately just wide of the cage. And
they were able to even switch fields within that 18-yard box. Tight compartment, was able to move that ball all around. Credit the Air Academy defense, Josh, to get in position and help Sierra Danager defend goal.
Counterattack, Cadets. Offside, though, is Air Academy.
And trying to make the connection, coming up from that left back again, the freshman Rachel Martino, who has been dynamic here so far in the first half, playing O and D and trying to get one through again to Karin Nelson.
Rife Snyder sent it through, gets it back.
You know, I think I said it was Martino. Actually, that must have been Bree Pack, because that's who's got the ball on her foot for Air Academy. That 2 and that 8 are kind of meshing a little bit on the back of their numbers.
Yeah, well, we've got a fantastic view. I think between you and I sits the midline splitting the two of us.
Exactly.
Great venue. If you've never been to Dick's Sporting Goods Park and you're you live in Colorado or vacation here ever, I recommend coming out here. It's fantastic. It's a one-level stadium, 360 degrees, meaning you can walk all the way around and get vantage points and views the whole way. And of course, while you're waiting for concessions, going to the restroom, there's no opportunity to miss play, except when you're in the restroom, of course. No opportunity to miss play, though. You get to watch the full 90 minutes, or in this case, 80 minutes of soccer.
And I think, too, one thing that Colorado needs to be proud of is this is a soccer-only stadium and one of the tops in the MLS.
Erica Underhill sends on. Long distance, whistles, and it'll be Green Mountain, the foul committed by Nelson. That's a dangerous place to be going up for a ball. You hate to see the risk of a penalty kick.
Yeah, and at this stage, too, just under 7 left in the first half. And we talk about the venues, credit CHSAA for again bringing state championship action to one of the pro or top facilities in the state. Soccer here at the Rapids facility, basketball at the University of Colorado up at the Event Center, and then football at Mile High, at Sports Authority at Mile High. So just a great exposure and an opportunity of a lifetime for all these high school student athletes.
Yeah, think back to when you were younger. You played at another high school gym. I think about our lacrosse state championships in New Jersey. Played at a 2,000-seat football stadium. That was the nicest and best in the state at that time. And let's face it, the boys and girls participating in CHSAA who reach the pinnacle are spoiled.
Yeah, it's quite the privilege here today with the facilities we have.
Free ball through the middle. Good catch right there, Daniger. A little bit longer than the Rams defense would have liked to put it, but Daniger up to the test.
Claire Miles put it on goal, Josh, and if you saw Danigan, she looked like she was having a little bit of trouble judging that. And one thing, talking a while back with head coach Kurt Bass from Arapahoe, he said a lot of times because kids specialize at such an early age now in sports, he said if you're not used to playing softball or baseball in your backyard or you know in a lot or something, he said that's where you judge fly balls. He said, so when you got 50-50 balls or as a goalkeeper, he said you may not already have that experience of judging a ball.
Karen Nelson was looking for a foul inside the 18. Sliding was Hendon.
Another threat by the Kadets, again getting in behind that Green Mountain Ram defense.
You know, in 19+ games of action so far, it's tough to imagine that Nelson only has 17 goals. 17 is one of the top scorers in the state at this level. But it's hard to imagine because tonight she's had, what, a half dozen opportunities.
She really has, and credit her team for getting the ball to her foot, giving her those chances. But you know, you haven't seen...
Headed on, goal Rams! It's the senior Lindsay Forrest tying things up in the 35th minute. 1-1 in the state championship game.
What a beautiful set piece and finish by the Rams for the equalizer.
Forrest's goal, her 12th on the season, her 3rd here in the postseason. We've got ourselves a whole new ball game as we get another look at the long ball played from straight away.
And trying to hurry was Green Mountain, so they tried to catch Air Academy off guard. Couldn't do that. Then they set up from really about 45 yards out. Here's the serve up and glances off the head of Lindsay Forrest. Far post, goal Rams.
The first goal given up in the postseason by Air Academy, and just their 3rd in their last 14 games dating back to mid-April. But a golden chance back the other way for Air Academy. Sarah Schweiss will take it. The leading goal scorer on the club, 2-woman wall in front of her. Hendon gets enough, keeps it out of the near post. A corner kick for Air Academy. Taylor Braden will be the trigger woman. Into the box, cleared away by the defense. I believe it was Makatura who got ahead on it. And another corner kick. Braden's got 5 assists on the season, 2 of those in the playoffs. Swung in once again near post. Makatora there once again. Braden chips in. Not sure shot or goal. It sails well high, about 5 yards over the crossbar. And just safety for Green Mountain.
Now the Rams going into the break have something to really turn that momentum around with just 3:23 left in first half action.
Dangerous play by Haley Williamson. Whistles for a stoppage of the clock. Williamson is going to get booked. A yellow card caution to the junior. Get another look at the dangerous play there. So the first card of the match to Air Academy. 3:17 showing on the clock before halftime. And just as quickly as the Rams scored, this is probably about 15 yards further back, but looks like they're going for the same set piece. Played to the box, it'll come up just short of it, bounding in. Sliding on was Forrest, and a goal kick. Just as quickly as the Rams scored, they were in a dangerous position, giving up back-to-back corner kicks to Air Academy. Substitution, Williamson will check right back in as Haley Peterman trots off.
And Claire Miles, who handles most of the set pieces from 40 yards plus, and she was the one, it was off of her foot that Forrest was able to glance it off her head and get it into the goal for the Rams just minutes ago.
Schweitz, fancy footwork to Braden. That's Brooke Braden on the near side, Taylor's on the far. Speaking of Taylor, it was the sisters looking to connect, unsuccessful with 2.5 to go. Nice little through ball, give and go from Fair, left foot swung in, coming on is Dobbin. Fancy moves, she drops back to the midfield. Nutmeg through Williamson, sent on toward Cage. And Doniger will watch it go out of bounds.
As you mentioned, just the 8th goal given up by Daniger this season. She has benefited from a tough back line featuring 3 seniors with a lot of experience for the Kadets.
A season-high 12 saves in the semifinal victory over Valor Christian with the shutout. In the opener against Valor Christian, 11 saves, but 3 goals against in that one.
You mentioned Valor, and even though the Kadets lost in the season opener against Valor Christian, head coach Brian Schultz for Valor Christian. That would almost good. Good thing Doniger was just outside the far post when that ball went through her hands. It
was Marquezo who sent it in, and we talked about it earlier, Mary Kay. A slick ground, you gotta be there. That's twice now, one on each end, one for Hendon and one for Daniger, where that ball's gotten away from him and unblemished so far. We'll see what leads to it on the corner kick.
They almost have to be like a catcher in softball or baseball, where you have to get on your knees and make sure that that ball does not get through.
Forrest was the one who got her head on it. Not much muscle on it, and a goal kick with 50 seconds remaining for Air Academy.
To finish that thought about Valor Christian, coach Brian Schultz said, you know, you're not a team you want to face again. And sure enough, head coach Nancy Sibley for Air Academy said, we're going to see them again. Don't forget this game. And sure enough, saw them in the playoffs and knocked them off last Saturday to get to this game. Here, the championship for 4A.
Schweiss stumbles back to her feet. Looks like she's okay as Reifschneider plays through to Pack. One last opportunity maybe for Air Academy. 15 seconds showing on the clock. Knocked down by the defense in the direction of Karin Nelson. Air Academy has it right back. Question is, do the girls see the clock? Through ball, running on. No shot. Defended by Sabrina Van Dyke. What a thrilling first 40 minutes of play in this 4A state championship game. It was Karin Nelson who got the Air Academy Cadets on the board just 7 minutes into the action, and then an answer back the other way by the Rams late here in the first half of play. 1-1 our score through 40 minutes. Welcome back to Dick's Sporting Goods Park for the 4A Colorado State Girls Soccer Championships from Commerce City, Colorado. 40 minutes in the books, a goal apiece between the Air Academy Kadets and the Green Mountain Rams. Josh Gross alongside Mary Kay Morrow. And Mary Kay, 2 goals on the board. That was an exciting first half with a ton of scoring opportunities, especially late, as we get to look at the highlights from that first half of play here at a rainy, soggy, and wet pro venue.
You know, Air Academy, Josh, wasted no time in this first half. We always talk about that first 5 minutes. Well, just about 7 minutes in, there's a great move by the senior, Karin Nelson. Gets past the goalie and sends it into the back of the net for the first and only goal for the Kadets. Then, set piece, Claire Miles puts it up and jumping in midair off the top of the head is forced, and she guides it into the far post for the equalizer as the Rams knotted at 1 apiece going into the second half.
So Air Academy, which lost in the title game to Chatfield back in 2009, the champions way back in 1993, looking for its first state championship in nearly 2 decades. On the other side, Green Mountain, state titles in 1997, 1999, and for Air Academy, got to wonder in their minds, knowing that they hadn't given up a goal in nearly a month of play, how do they keep that composure? How do they come back? Basically, it's back at 0-0, right? No score. It's the same as the 1-1. Their defense has to say, hey, you know what? We can hold this team down.
Yeah, and I think part of the speech at the half by head coach Nancy Sibley was, you know, our motto to start this season is no different to start the second half, and that's no excuses, just results. And play their game, their strengths, they're technically sound, very possession-oriented. You saw the way they switched fields, had great counterattack, and tough defense. I think if you're Air Academy, you don't change anything. I think that you just have to mentally overcome maybe that slight advantage that the Rams have coming into the second half.
Carly Fair, the ball was sent in her direction. She's been quiet so far this evening. She's had some opportunities. She's had some nice dancing steps up and around the ball.
She's been really kept at bay. As soon as she gets a little bit close to that 18-yard box, she's been stifled by Martino. The freshman in the left back position has her speed has really challenged Fair.
How tough is it to play for your parent?
You know, I'd like to ask Carly that question. In talking to head coach Ken Fair about that, he said, you know, we're really lucky. He said, yes. He goes, you really don't think about it till people ask. He said, but for the most part, he said, you know, they've been winning. If something goes wrong, yes, she's still the coach's kid. He goes, but I'm so proud at how she handles she's composed about that. The relationship, the father-daughter relationship, but more importantly, she's got the respect of her teammates, and at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Through ball from Schweiss. It goes in the net, but offside was Nelson. She had the goal early in the first half, was looking to get on the board again here in the second, and a nice counterattack from the Kadets that the officials whistled in.
Yeah, and again, early, Air Academy trying to make a statement. You know, we talked about the first and the last 5 minutes of the half. That's where Green Mountain got active. With 5:03 left, they were able to get that set piece, and Forrest putting in the goal. You mentioned the 2 championships, 1999, 1997. Of note, the head coach at that time, Teresa Echtemeyer, the head coach of Mountain Vista, last year's defending 5A champions. There'll be a new one coming up this year, as Fairview and Cherry Creek will be in that game. But Coach Echtemeyer, very well respected, and she started her career at Green Mountain. She was a Heritage alum, playing with April Heinrichs back in the day.
Out of the reach of Brunsden, but she keeps it in. Played near flag. Here's Fair, looking for a streaker coming down for help. 14 yards from goal. Fair denied initially by Katie Taylor. Ball pops free out to Claire Miles. Defensive pressure by Nelson and taken away by Schweiss. Good help by the midfielders to control possession in the middle of the field. Schweiss right around a Green Mountain player, and Hendon gets her first touch. Comes 2:45 into the second half.
One thing about Sarah Schweiss, comes into the game with 18 goals on the season. She has not scored, Josh, in the last 3 games. Coach simply said, she goes, you know how mature she is. She doesn't care that she's not scoring, even though she's the lead goal scorer on this team. More important to her is being able to distribute, and she's a forward by trade.
Excuse me, Mary Kay. Miles swings in, jumping for it, Marquezo, and swung back on out. Good possession opportunity for the Rams offensively as Bree Pock looks to bring it the other way.
Kadets go to switch fields again.
Giving chase Schweiss. And she earns a corner kick. It was the defender, Claire Miles, who was there, and Schweiss working hard. Gets Miles to commit the error and send it off the end line.
And I would not be surprised, you got Schweiss on the corner, to see her more active in the attack here in the second half.
Schweiss swings in right across the goal. Hendon with the left mid on it. We'll play a corner kick from the far side. Taylor Braden will take this one. That ball hovered right by the crossbar for a while, and then Hendon got up there to knock it away.
Yeah, and a smart move too, because Air Academy, a lot of blue jerseys around the goal mouth.
Played in, headed by the defense. It comes to the near side, and Miles. And she'll clear it away for a throw-in for Air Academy. So Miles, who initially gave up the corner kick, does a nice job. Back-to-back plays there as she clears it aside, and Air Academy looks to resettle. Pressure from Dobbin. Green Mountain sends it through. Running on fair and well out of her reach. Sierra Daniger right there.
Haley Williamson battling for the ball, but it was a great job coming in that time. As you'd mentioned, it was Dobbin pushing forward for the Rams.
Makatora has it taken away by Braden. Now Martino right in front of that Air Academy bench. Give your coach a good look at the hard work you're putting in a championship game. Good initial step by Reif Schneider and played forward. Good through ball. Schweiss cut off by Makatora. Brunsden and Marquezo look to slow.
Marquezo, we haven't seen, or actually I should say we haven't talked a lot about Katie Marquezo, but Coach Fair said just a rare breed. She's one of those players that after training, she's out there running a couple of laps, maybe going around the track. Her work rate never stops, and that's a terrific characteristic of a center mid.
Good step by Haley Williamson. Whistles and a foul committed on that far side by Carly Fair.
And ironically, Marquezo, like Akar Nelson, headed to the University of Oklahoma. So they'll be teammates next season in the Big 12.
Settled by Air Academy. Schweiss controls the middle area. Williamson loses it, tries to get it back. Now the Rams on the counter.
Almost a handball that time by Forrest.
Hustled by Nelson. Sends it forward to her teammate in Brooke Braden. Braden still with it. Splits 2 defenders. She's brought down. No whistles. Nelson plays in. Handed by Hendon. Cutting through was Braden, and she couldn't get the touch.
Well, Sabrina Van Dyke came up from her sweeper position and went right at Braden, making sure that she didn't get deeper into the box.
There was a lot of contact in the box on the near side. I thought the initial call was going to be for a penalty kick, but the officials say clean play. Play on.
You know, Green Mountain plays more of that traditional defensive back line where you've got a sweeper and a stopper and then a couple of outside backs. So Van Dyke is the sweeper. Right in front of her is Gabby McAtura. And on the wings on defense, Van Tassel and Miles. They've been tested quite a bit tonight by this very active Air Academy Cadet squad.
Through ball that Fair looks at, headed all the way back to Daniger. If any of the players are sensing nerves or had them early, certainly couldn't tell. Looked like, they came out strong. Obviously, Air Academy got the early score, but both teams, there didn't seem to be any player out there who was overcome by the moment itself.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And it's almost like as much as their preseason schedules and their league schedules, very tough, prepared them for this championship game, you're still in this arena. You're still in this type of stadium, I should say, rather, where it's so vast, and the perception could be a little different. But boy, both teams have adjusted extremely well.
Throwing Kadets, that one barely goes anywhere, but it's controlled by Williamson. Schweiss once again through ball. Now Reifschneider running on. Cut off by Brunsden. Throw in Air Academy.
Great vision by Schweiss as she had filling on the right lane. Reifschneider, she's used to filling lane. She's guard on the basketball team that won state earlier this year. Just a couple of months ago, Tori Reifschneider. And what a run. Also, Air Academy band state champions, boys swim champions, baseball's in the final, lacrosse girls in the finals tonight as well at the University of Denver. So just a terrific athletic year for the Kadets who have been in 4A this is the second year. And that's all based on student population.
10 minutes gone by of scoreless soccer here in the second half in the 4A state championship game between the home Green Mountain Rams in the gold and the visiting Air Academy Kadets in the navy. 1-1 the score. Karin Nelson got on the board 7 minutes in for Air Academy. Late in the first half, it was Lindsay Forrest for Green Mountain.
Marquezo, a beautiful move on Williamson to get through the middle, almost to the top of the box before she lost it to the Air Academy defense.
Lindsay Forrest plays through, running on Fair. That ball skips right off the grass and safely to Sierra Daniger.
Yeah, Daniger better handles that time to corral the ball. No jostling of it.
Good look to Reifschneider. That one finds its way to the near side. Straight in midfield is Claire Miles. Good look at her, number 14 for the Rams. 5 goals on the season from the back line, a goal against Golden in the round of 16 here in the playoffs. Reifschneider through to Nelson, and now all the way to Brooke Braden. Sent in wide open, shot, save. Sarah Schweiss with her best opportunity of the game. She was open from 18. Hendon cut off the angle nicely.
And she sure did. And Schweiss had far post, but you know what? She needed to loft it up. She was keeping it low, but a great read by Hendon to make sure that ball did not get through.
Taken down Brunsden. Defending was Brooke Braden. And free kick territory here from about 30 yards out. A dangerous position for Sierra Daniger as she lines up her defense. A 3-girl wall in front of her. Again, 10 yards needed to be given between ball and wall.
I like that, ball and wall.
taking it fair, sent on. And it heads on up the steps towards the locker room.
That's the first set piece for Green Mountain here in the second half.
Forrest's using the noggin. Dobbin, little shove from behind. She stays with it, feeds to Makatura.
That defensive back is very physical for Air Academy.
Sent in, hits the top of the net. And a goal kick. Wasn't sure if they were calling offside on fair, although the ball was all the way by the end line. Clean play, but just off the top of the net. Rain has subsided here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Looks like maybe better weather in store for the conclusion of this one and the 5A game to follow. Nelson, individual effort. Miles all over her, sent in. Hendon knocks it down at the 6.
And flying through the middle was the other attacking center mid. That was Haley Williamson, and she was heavily marked by Marquezo. And also Makatura.
What a fun one this has been. Girls giving it their all, several of them, in fact, 11 of them, half the roster for Green Mountain, and 9 players for Air Academy. The last times they'll suit up on the high school level in any sport, really.
That's true.
25 minutes, maybe more, remain in their high school careers for those fourth-year players. Played all the way back to Hendon. She puts a solid leg into it.
Offside.
And offside was one of the Rams strikers. Quick restart, the officials won't allow it. By the way, the officials in tonight's game, it certainly is an honor to be chosen to officiate in the state championship tournament. A greater honor to be here in the title game. Brian Foxhoven, the referee. Ken Hare is on the bench side. Michael Wallace on the near side. And Connor McGahee.
And Brian Foxhoven knows a little bit about soccer. His daughter Danielle just completed a stellar career at the University of Portland. She was a Mullen High School graduate, helped lead Mullen to a 2007 state championship, and has been drafted in the pros, but they've got a hiatus right now as they try to figure out a few things in pro soccer. In the meantime, she's playing pro soccer overseas.
Brooke Braden will clear it. A throw-in, but a substitution before the Rams can check it in. Christina Makatura will sit.
Miles with the throw into fear. Do you see how immediately she gains attention? Tori Reifsnyder has kind of shadowed her on this second half. First half it was Martino.
Ball played in again what seemed harmlessly, and it skips off the turf. There's a Ram down. She ran into Daniger, kind of got twisted up awkwardly, had her feet taken out. And we'll stop the clock and get a look. Right back up on her feet is the freshman Mia Dobbin. Good to see her healthy.
Dobbin, one of 5 freshmen for Green Mountain. Air Academy has 4. Both teams very senior laden. 10 for Green Mountain, 9 for the Kadets.
And for Air Academy, another 5 juniors.
Yeah, really interesting that Air Academy has just 1 sophomore on its roster. That is such a huge class in soccer these days. Many teams have large sophomore classes and lower numbers in the junior ranks.
How about the number of freshmen? We saw it last night with peak to peak in Colorado Academy. The Mustangs of Colorado Academy, so young, more than half their roster freshmen and sophomores. Impressive to think 4 years and 4-year starters for some of these girls, and impact players, not just starters, impact players, leading their teams at least one game away or some minutes away from the promised land.
And you can credit a lot of that to the club soccer that goes on. The players start much earlier, and they come ready to play. They're ready to play that freshman year, and Martino's a good example of that for Air Academy. Coach Nancy Sibley said she is mature beyond her years, coming in 14, 15 years old, playing in a game like this and learning to play the speed that it takes with the upperclassmen.
Throw-in Rams. Headed down by Brooke Watson. Confusion by the defense, lack of communication nearly gave an opportunity to Brunsden. Right back the other way comes Karin Nelson. 4 gold jerseys, now 5 make their way and converge on her. She dumps back to Williamson. Nelson once again. Open is Schweiss.
Yeah, trying to create that triangle.
Bad first touch by Schweiss. She slide tackles it away, has it off her face, and stays with it. Braden right there. Braden, left foot, shot, goal! Brooke Braden with the left foot from 25 yards away off the bottom of the crossbar and in. It beat Hendon. Air Academy up 2-1.
That was an incredible shot, Josh, as Schweiss used her body to block the defender's kick to clear the ball out of the defensive third, and then all of a sudden the ball was available. It was like 2 on about 6 for Air Academy, and as you mentioned it, Braden came in, right place, right time, stayed with the ball, turned and struck it with the left foot high and just totally out of the reach of Hendon. Top bar drops down inside the goal line for the go-ahead goal.
10th goal on the season for the sophomore Brooke Braden. She scored the lone goal in the semi-final victory for the Kadets over Valor Christian back on Saturday. And tonight gives her team a 2-1 advantage as an injury stoppage and another look at the last goal. This one actually the first goal there from Karin Nelson.
And then here's it. You see, goes up, and she just stays with it. She beats the defender. Now she's got an extra player and splits 2 defenders. Upper shelf. Top 90 for the second goal, and she came from her outside mid position, just a sophomore. You saw her quickness and physicality to gain possession, to turn and shoot.
Schweiss shakes it off. Free kick, the Rams, just in front of the near corner flag. But I think maybe some attention on Schweiss. She kept the play alive, for sure.
Absolutely.
But Schweiss is the go-to for Air Academy, and it's her teammate Braden on the outside who makes the magic happen in the 58th minute of play. And now a goal kick for Hendon, who was beaten on a shot that very few keepers at any level are going to get anything on.
Yeah, when it gets that close to the bar, it actually hits it like it did, and it dropped straight down. Could have easily, have been on the upper half of that bar and gone up and over. Instead, it hits the bottom half of the top bar and goes straight down inside the goal.
In a field that is literally acres large. A matter of maybe an inch or two is the difference right now that Air Academy has the lead as Schweiss gets looked at by the medical staff on her bench.
Yeah, she was limping off after the last dead ball. So Green Mountain on the other side now has to figure out how to get Carly Fair some chances so that she can get in position for some shots on goal. She has yet to be in position for a shot. She's had a couple of set-piece opportunities. And so far, Air Academy has done a terrific job of keeping Katie Marqueso and Lindsay Forrest off balance in that midfield for Green Mountain.
Fair comes in with 29 goals, but hasn't found the back of the net yet tonight.
And as
She's
we said,
right now
in the semi, she had a hat trick against Devlin, so which is a Jeffco rival.
Latter stages, second half now. Josh Gross, Mary Kay Morrow with you here from Dick's Sporting Goods Park in this the 4A Girls Soccer State Championship game. Air Academy and its coach Nancy Sibley sit just 19 minutes away from the first state championship in 19 years for the program. Nelson with an opportunity. Ball got caught behind her back foot, and Hendon boots it away.
Well, and I'm seeing Sabrina Van Dyke play up a little higher, and as you can imagine, Green Mountain now probably going to push more into the offensive third and might end up having, instead of 2, might change and try to have at least 3 go up top to pressure the Air Academy defense and try to get a goal for an equalizer.
Especially for Air Academy that really has been stingy. The goal they gave up in the first half was the first they had given up in 6 games. And a defense that allows 0.35 goals per game. You need to change things up a little bit potentially and try to find the equalizer.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if they might throw another player up top.
Braden, the goal scorer, with a lackluster touch. Now Rife Snyder. Good step through by by Haley Peterman. And Makatura the other way on the far side. You talk about about Green Mountain pushing up. If you're Air Academy, how many do you drop back now, Mary Kay?
You know, I think you still stick with your 4. I think you stay solid with your 4-4-2. Now, they play a little bit more flat for Air Academy, so they've got that solid back line. But you might want to drop, if you want to assist in the defense, you know how you support the attack, you might want to go support the defense and maybe have Brooke Braden and Taylor Braden on the wings from the midfield. Drop back maybe just a tad to try to have more numbers on the defensive third.
Good to see Sarah Schweiss is healthy, fine, and checking back in. Taylor Braden gets a little breather. Her sister, Brooke Braden, has at this point what stands to be the state championship winning goal. Will the Rams have something to say about it? 16:35 to work with.
And look how well Air Academy uses the field, Josh. Going from left to right, spreading out Green Mountain. And this is coming up to the stage of the game where both teams starting to feel a little maybe fatigue that you have to fight through, knowing what's at stake here.
Substitutions on both sides as Peterman drops off. Taylor Braden right back in for the Rams. Christina Makatura will sit. And it's interesting, that was a topic of conversation with every coach playing here in the championships about the size of the field. As Nelson with another opportunity to the right foot, Hendon just 5 yards away from her, uses her chest and her stomach, and it goes right in.
And Hendon benefited from Nelson off balance, not being able to get a good strike on the ball, and had just a very limited window left open.
Mary Kay. Fair swings far side. Through ball back to Fair. Defending was Underhill, and Daniger right there.
I give Daniger credit. She laid on the ball. That's what you have to do. Just like I said,
you hate to see giving something up.
Yeah, you just have to, at this point, if you can't get a good grip on it, you better lay on it to make sure that ball does not get into the back of the net.
So all the coaches, when asked about the size of the field, they played 120 yards long last year and in previous, said that any team that has more of a long ball style, a little kick and run type style, that's not a knock on a team, but anyone that does, this might hurt them in a compressed space, especially on a slick field. Whereas a possession-based team, we've seen on this compressed field, the goal from Green Mountain was sent in on a long ball from near the midfield line that who knows if it would have gotten there if the field was an extra, 7 yards on each side.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Coach Sibley said she felt this size field played to her team's strengths because they use both sides so well and get up and down the field and are used to possessing.
Daniger was slow off her line on that save.
This might be one of those mistakes, missed touches that Green Mountain might want to take advantage of here by Air Academy.
Played out by Brooke Braden. Throw in Claire Miles. Crunch time for the Rams. Good defense by Kendall Colchin. That's the first time I've mentioned her name. She is one of those stars of that Kadets defense that has been so solid all year.
You know, that was Brunson, the freshman forward, on the touch the last time down the field for Green Mountain. And as we said, she stepped into this position. She was suiting and playing behind Janelle Morgan, who suffered an ACL injury against Devlin during the regular season. 7 games into the season, she finds herself in the starting lineup for Green Mountain. Janelle Morgan, and she'll head to play she'll play in Savannah, Georgia, and she'll miss her freshman season as she tries to rehab that ACL.
Green Mountain had a pep rally at its school earlier this morning. They introduced the team. The girls talked about the season. Back-to-back league champions. Huge accomplishment there. They haven't been to the state championship game since the early 2000s. Haven't won in 13 years. That dating back to 1999. And really stressed by the coaching staff. Ball played in. Daniger right there was the fact that everybody in the school is a part of the run that the Rams have had. It's nice to hear, and that extends students, faculty, parents, and they all came out to cheer on the girls in gold this evening.
Well, it's a neat community. It's really not a growth area of Jeffco, and the size has dwindled some in the years. But Green Mountain, for it to come back as it has under the leadership of Coach Fair these past 7 years, has just been phenomenal run for the Ram squad, and as you said, a community feel in that West Jeffco neighborhood.
Under 12 to go in regulation. Air Academy with goals from Brooke Braden in the second half, Karin Nelson in the first. Lindsay Forrest with the lone tally tonight for the Rams. Following this game, the Fairview Knights taking on the Cherry Creek Bruins. The Bruins, the 5 seed. The Knights dancing in Cinderella slippers so far, the 15. A team that nobody expected to be here except maybe the 20 plus in the locker room of the Knights.
Yeah, Fairview likes that underdog role.
And it's interesting, no top seed in 3A, 4A, 5A actually made the championship games. The highest here, Green Mountain, as the 2.
And I think that's a tribute to just the level of competition in Colorado. Terrific soccer on both the girls and boys side, and then you take it to the college level at the D1, D2, and even D3 side. It's just really terrific play.
Spinning, looking for the shot was Dobbin. It was knocked down. Her teammate Brunsden was there, but it ends up with Air Academy. Bree Pack sends in the direction of the near flag. Giving chase is Nelson. Nelson, nice little back heel to herself. 4 defenders between her and the goal. It's taken away by one of them, whistled down, and it'll be Green Mountain ball.
This Air Academy team continues to put pressure. And I don't see much in the way of fatigue in the legs of the Kadets.
Well, it seems like you could almost play a 4-5-1 and have Karin Nelson be the only striker running free. There she was up against 4 defenders and still put pressure on a defense.
Yeah, that's a good point. You could really lock down that midfield.
A touch for the senior Kayla Hansen. Nice to see her getting an opportunity here in the title game. Played in, settled, but Brunsden can't control. Now Carly Fair. Will she dial things up?
Well, Colgin was a nice defender that time to make sure Brunsden didn't get any further than the 18-yard top of the box.
Played out by Bree Pack.
You know, you talked about not saying Colgin's name too much. She is a senior, one of those 9 for Air Academy. Hometown kid headed to Colorado College for school and soccer.
The Rams came into the season with one of the goals, the mindset of at least reaching the semis as they did a year ago. They've bettered that by playing here in the title game. But it's do or die time right now for Ken Fair and his crew. 8:50 and the clock ticking, but a corner kick for Carly Fair.
Well, and the first one here in the second half, just the 4th on the night for the Rams.
Played in, low liner. Shot. Did Daniger get a touch? Yep, another corner kick for the Rams. It was Claire Miles who it came all the way through to. All the other balls we've seen have been in the air. That one skipped quickly to Miles. She had an opportunity. I don't know if it would have been inside the near post or not, but not worth risking it from Sierra. Daniger does the smart thing and says, we'll live to see another day.
Yeah, it was a little bit outside of it. She had her defender with her on her shoulder.
Fair plays this one in from the near side. Gold jersey's right there. And booted out by the defender. That's why you put girls at each post. I think it was Reif Schneider there. Right place, right time, right setup. And still Green Mountain down by 1. 7:50 to go.
And that was Kelly Van Tassel coming from her right back position on the header. One of the bigger players and taller players trying to head it in for Green Mountain. And as you said, that it was really excellent position to have a player on each side of the post, making sure that ball doesn't slip in.
As we talk about pushing up, there's Fair in the box. Even the sweeper is, nearly at the top of the circle in Air Academy territory.
Goal kick. Substitution, Air Academy.
Substitution for Air Academy. Trotting off is Bree Pak. Coming on is Kirsty Wah. Known by teammates as Kat. Gets that one off her back. Little disoriented and now gets her bearings. Martino, good clear. A throw in for Makatora. Booming shot and an own goal! Unbelievable! Off of Reif Schneider and into that far post. 6:36 to go. We're knotted at 2.
And that was Brunsden, who was nearby, the freshman. And the ball goes off of Reif Schneider. We'll see it here on the replay. And we're looking at the first goal of the game.
Here's the clear, and Reif Schneider just gets to kind of the outside of her cleat.
Yeah, Brunsden was in the area, but it was off of Reif Schneider. You're exactly right.
What a strange way to have a tie game in the 83rd minute. Or sorry, 73rd minute.
Talk about adversity. This is where Air Academy is going to have to refocus now on a goal like that. So when you have an own goal, I think you take it. You do. You just take it a little harder, and you have to do an extra effort to fight through that you don't slump here as it closes.
Fair in, excuse me, Mary Kay, and that one just over Daniger's head in the crossbar. The best opportunity tonight on a scoring chance for Fair from 30.
Yeah, she has really had the clamps put on her all night long. And Fair finally gets a foot on it just clears the top bar.
How about this? The Cadets now have given up 2 goals tonight. Of course, one was the own goal just now. Only gave up 2 one other time this season to the defending champs, Valor Christian, in the opener back in March.
That's crazy. Now you see a little extra energy by Green Mountain off the side post. Look at that, Josh. Talk about momentum.
Field slant in one direction. That one nicked off the defender, Katie Marquezo, and the outside of the post.
And now another set-piece opportunity at the foot of Carly Fair for Green Mountain. Its 3rd opportunity here late in the half.
Daniger aligns the defense. Makatora there, the header sent over the top by Marquezo. What action on the left side of the field on your viewing screen as Green Mountain a couple minutes ago got the equalizer on a Kadets own goal, and then pressure there on the Fair corner kick. .410 away from bonus soccer.
Be interesting to see here, Josh, if Air Academy will try to get Sarah Schweiss a little bit more active in the offensive 3rd.
Over the top on the touch from Fair in the direction of Mia Dobbin. Daniger gets there.
And if you're Green Mountain, you still want to keep pressing with Marquezo and Forrest in the center, and then try to create an opportunity for Fair to get an open touch.
We've talked about the composure throughout the game of the freshman, and in goal, Sierra Daniger gives up the own goal as she has that one in her clutches. What do you think? An own goal or a goal by the opposition is more rattling at these stages of the game?
I really think the own goal. And I think you have to mentally make an extra effort if you're Air Academy to overcome that goal.
Nelson to the left foot, played in, chance, not enough on it from Pack. Ball still there and now played out. Reif Snyder, who had the own goal, will have the throw-in. That was a great chance for the Kadets under 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, that was terrific defense by Forrest to get back and help out the defensive line.
Schweiss in and she scores! 35 yards away, 2:45 to go in regulation. Air Academy back on top.
And again, that upper 90 was wide open. Spot on Sarah Schweiss, her first goal in 3 outings, and she does it in the state championship to give her team the go-ahead goal.
What action here in the last 5 minutes. Now there's 2:45, and the Rams, which have played uphill all day, need one quickly. Fair was looking to boot one. It was touched down by Air Academy. Good coaching as they were expecting it. Cadets ball as we approach 2:30 remaining.
Schweiss, one of a handful of seniors who were a part of that 2009 team that fell 1-0 to Chatfield on this very same field, looking to get that gold ball, and she puts her team up by 1.
Her 19th goal on the season, 55 points. 3rd tally of the playoffs, now 10 points in the postseason. And what a year it's been for her. 10 games with at least a goal and an assist, and maybe no bigger score in her career than the one that comes from 35 yards away.
Terrific strike, upper 90, and no way Hendon could even get a hand on it.
Here is the goal once again that gives the lead to the Cadets. Right boot, that's 35 yards, Mary Kay, and there's nothing that a goalkeeper can do.
And did you see how just tucked under the bar, dipped last second to go in, untouched?
Reif Snyder sends it away. Maybe no one happier than her right now.
I was just thinking, you know, Reif Snyder has to definitely big burden off of her shoulders. But what terrific competitiveness by her team to respond. And that's what we were talking about, that adversity, able to turn the tables. With just 6 minutes left, And at the 2:45 marker, Schweiss connects.
Brunsden, Daniger has it.
But we're not done, right? We
Not
are
done
not
yet.
finished because Green Mountain
Has
wants to have the fight.
everybody
That's
forward.
right.
50 seconds to go.
Yeah, wants the last say here.
Makatora brings it down. Van Tassel sends forward. It's sent right back at her. Now Sabrina Van Dyke, through ball, fair. Tough skip, tough bounce out of her reach. 29 seconds showing on the clock.
Well, TCU's going to be thrilled to have Sarah Schweiss part of its program next fall. Terrific way for the senior and her team to go out.
From cadet to Horned Frog to state champion. The fans counting it down. The bench ready to celebrate. For the first time in 19 years, Colorado Springs' own Air Academy Cadets climb the mountain and are the champions in Colorado soccer. Congratulations to head coach Nancy Sibley and her staff, and after giving up no goals in the postseason, 2 tonight to Green Mountain. And the game winner from Sarah Schweiss, 35 yards out, upper 90 in the 77th minute of play.
And I really think it is terrific of a goal that was by Schweiss and a strike by her. The fact, to me, it's almost more important that within 4 minutes they were able to turn it around after an own goal that was the equalizer and overcame again. And the seniors and this Air Academy squad, you mentioned Nancy Sibley, her sister Diane Shuck, the athletic director, they have had a terrific run, as we said, at Air Academy this year. And what a way to finish high school athletics on the girls' side here with a crowning of another state champion for Air Academy.
Lindsay Forrest, the senior captain for Green Mountain, had a late first half goal that tied things at 1. We were there for a while until Air Academy got one from Brooke Bradian in the 58th minute off her left foot. It was her 10th of the season. Then the own goal scored by the senior Tori Reifschneider, and redemption by her classmate Sarah Schweiss. 19 goals her senior year. The first 18, nothing like the 19th. It's the boot from 35 that sends Air Academy home with the state title.
And you know what else, Josh? A lot of credit to and kudos to Green Mountain. A solid team up the middle. When you look at the Rams, you had Marquezo, Forrest, McIntyre, Van Dyke, and Carly Fair was kept under wraps. And Air Academy beat a very, very tough and once undefeated team in Green Mountain this season.
Kudos to the freshman goaltender, Sierra Daniger. 1,400 minutes played in her first year. You see her in the green jersey at the bottom right of your screen. Daniger gives up 2-1 the own goal. She can call herself a state champion. She and the Kadets, the best in 4A. 18-3 on the season following the win. Green Mountain, its first loss of the year, falling to 17-1-1. Ken Fair and his squad finishes as runner-ups this season after a penalty kicks victory over Palmer Ridge in the semifinal.
You know, Fair, high school grad from nearby Sheridan High School, and played some college ball himself at St. John's and Metro State. He said coming back to Colorado and trying to give back to Colorado soccer. He said, you know, being around Carly, his daughter, and Katie Marquezo and Lindsay Forrest since they were 10 years old, you know, to bring them to this opportunity and this program back to a state championship game was, you know, almost surreal. And he said the support that the community gave, but he has not only done it this year, but 2 years in a row, Final Four. Green Mountain's
Kadets.
girls soccer program is in good shape at the hands of Ken Fair going forward.
Nancy Sibley, the head coach for the Kadets, said her defense was smart, solid, and composed, and after the own goal, they kept their composure, and Schweiss got some redemption for her defensive mate. In Reifschneider, the trophy goes up. Look at the jubilation on the faces of the Kadets.
Well, I wonder if now Coach can put her 1993 state jersey behind glass, and now she's got a coaching jersey that she can hold up as the 2012 Air Academy State Champions.
Schweiss, who had the game winner right in the middle there, wearing number 13, just above the golden soccer ball. And a total team effort. Countless substitutions for the Kadets tonight. Players on and off. Schweiss actually was banged up early in the second half. She got looked at by the training staff, and a great job by them to get her back out there.
You know, interesting enough, Haley Williams' son, her sister Shelby, and Kylie both played on that 2009 team that lost in the finals to Chatfield in the 5A. Shelby now at KU, Kylie now at Air Force Academy, and now Haley can come home a state champion.
9 players walk off, finish their careers. The victors in 4A and the younger players in the squad know that they will have the targets on their backs next season. 2012 is all about Air Academy in 4A girls soccer.
You know, Reifschneider, the own goal off of her, that's 2 state championships now she can claim as a senior, basketball and now soccer. Pretty impressive.
For Mary Kay Morrow, I'm Josh Gross. Thanks so much for our entire production crew. We'll see you in the 5A Girls State Championship game in just moments here on CHSAA.tv between the Cherry Creek Bruins and the dark horse, the Fairview Knights. In 4A, it's all about Air Academy. The Kadets 3-2 victors. Sarah Schweiss with the victory goal. 2:45 to go in the second half. That's it for us from Dick's Sporting Goods Park in Commerce City. Congratulations to Nancy Sibley. Air Academy claims the title.